Welcome back to Daily Wisdom. Today we're going to look at the second reading of the Torah portion of Eikev. So in this reading, Moses recalls some of the miracles and the tremendous blessings that the Jewish people had received throughout their 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. And amongst these, Moses mentions the manna, the literal bread from heaven that rained down upon the Israelite camp and provided food for the Jewish people throughout their journeys. But Moses refers to the manna using a very curious term. Moses refers to the manna as a test. Now, the truth about the manna was that it seems like anything other than a test, because the manna fell free of charge. You didn't have to work to receive your manna. Additionally, the manna could taste like anything you wanted. It had an infinite taste palette. Furthermore, the manna provided the perfect amount of nutrition. There was no waste. The body produced no waste from the manna for 40 years, which means that it was perfectly attuned to the human biology to provide just the right nutrients that the body would need. The manna was a wonder food. It was the perfect food, and yet Moses refers to it as a test. Why? Well, if you recall, in the original story of the manna falling, the Torah tells us that there was a caveat. Yes, the manna fell every day, but it only fell for that day. The Israelites, the Jewish people, were not permitted to save any manna for the next day. Those who tried soon found out that whatever they saved had spoiled. It was one day only, which means the following. Imagine you were an ancient Israelite. Imagine it's the nighttime. You're about to go to bed. Imagine you open up your pantry, your cabinets. What do you see? Nothing. There is no food. There are no provisions for the next day. And now the question is, how soundly will you sleep? How sure are you that God will deliver food once again tomorrow morning? Can you perfectly rely on, can you trust in God? Yeah, I know it says it on the money, in God we trust, but can you really trust in God? Do you really trust in God? This is the reality that the ancient Israelites faced every single day of their lives for 40 years. They went to sleep trusting, or needing to trust, that God would provide. You know, my friends, the same is true in our lives. Sure, we may have food in our pantries, but the real question is, how much do we trust? When things don't go the way we would like, do we trust that God is in control? Do we think, perhaps, that we need to be in control in order to make things right? Or do we have the ability to trust in God? This is what Moses means when he says that the manna was a test. It was a most tremendous test, and one that we are faced with on occasion in our lives as well. The test is, do we really trust in God? Can we really let go and let God? Something to think about on this very special day. Shalom.